Hey, Pat Rigsby here, and in today's episode, I want to talk with you about how to grow your business in turbulent times. Let's get to it.
Welcome to the Fitness Business School podcast, the show for fitness business owners who want to grow their income, increase their impact, and improve their lifestyle. Be sure to listen till the end of this episode because we have a brand new special offer exclusive for listeners. So stay tuned.
Right now, we're in an election year. The stock market's definitely been up and down as of late. There's been turbulence in cryptocurrency too. And there are a lot of people talking about how they're seeing this being a bubble and how it's kind of showing shades of how things were back in 2008, 2009 when we had a recession. And having grown businesses very significantly during that time frame, having continued to succeed and by some measures thrive in business during the pandemic, I wanted to give you kind of a, if not an actual roadmap, because I think everybody's path is a little bit different on this, give you some concepts that I think have helped all the businesses that I've been a part of that actually saw growth during challenging times. And I'm certain that these can help you as well. They just probably have to be kind of adapted to your particular circumstances, to your particular market. Because way back in 2008, I was still pretty early on in my entrepreneurial career, 2009. And there were a lot of one-on-one training facilities, the Fitness Togethers of the world, were the prominent franchise at that point. They were selling one-on-one training in packages, so people had to pay big lump sums of cash, and they struggled. A lot of those closed. A lot of the territories that were sold as franchises never got open. I saw a number of other franchises not in the fitness industry where territories got sold and they never got open because people couldn't secure loans for build-outs, loans for equipment, that sort of thing. And I saw a number of people who responded in maybe unfavorable ways during that time frame really struggle. And then we saw it again in 2020. During that time frame, we had one client in any of our interactive coaching programs. Only one client actually closed, and they were part of a franchise that did not give them really any latitude to apply any of the things that we were teaching, some of the ways to be adaptable. And I don't think any of these, I guess, successes would be a fluke. I don't want to think that they're lucky. There were some very strategic things that we did and strategic ways that we thought to be successful. And I wanted to pass some of those along to you because I do think that in the forthcoming months, there are going to be lots of ups and downs when it comes to the economy. And we have to be able to navigate that because consumers may change spending patterns. People may have interruptions in employment if things kind of go sideways. And so how do we navigate this? How do we succeed? So the first thing that I would say is you always prioritize retention. Retention is number one at any point. And we saw this especially during the pandemic. If you make yourself a more valuable part of your client's life, you are certainly further down the list when somebody is auditing their expenses and thinking about things that they're going to cut first. So you have to make yourself more valuable. It's not enough just to host workouts. It's not enough to just be transactional. You have to really be transformational. And so if you don't have systems in place for things like the Other 165, if you don't have recognition systems in place, if you aren't really managing your client life cycle the way that you should and making people feel connected, feel appreciated, feel valued, and get results, that needs to be a priority for you. And I know it sounds simple, and I'm sure some people think, well, hey, I'm doing great with this. Well, if you're not tracking it, you may not know. And if you're not tracking it, you may not notice fluctuations or increased churn as it happens. So make retention a priority. If you've already earned somebody's business, the lowest friction thing for them to do is to continue doing what they're doing right now. So we want to maintain and retain, right? So keep their business. If you're not doing that, make it job one. The second thing that you have to do is lead from the front. And this means you have to be consistent. You have to have perseverance. You have to not be somebody who is reactive emotionally whenever there are ups and downs, challenges, whether it's a couple clients leaving because maybe they panicked or the job circumstances changed, or some of your retirement account takes a dip or something like that. You just have to stay the course because people are going to be attracted to the voices that lift them up, right? Whether that's your team members, whether that's clientele, you are going to be the first domino in establishing the right type of culture, the right type of environment that people want to be a part of, right? People like positive things, and you want to be the best part of somebody's day, not the person dragging them down. You want to be an escape from challenges that they have, and that starts with you. So you have to lead from the front. And it's easy for people, especially during election times or economically challenging times, for people to get the cynical side of people to come out or whatever else. But you have to be the person that is there to lift people up, right? You lift people up, you will become a magnet. People will become magnetically attracted to you. So that's number two. Number three, if you've not really fully committed to operating like a true business owner, and if you're still kind of toggling back and forth between business owner and coach and business owner and solopreneur and kind of, hey, I've just created myself a job, and you're not treating your business with the consistency and diligence and seriousness that you should. And that means tracking your numbers. That means having a spending plan. That means marketing consistently. It means having staff training. It means really treating this as the type of business that ultimately you would want to be the owner of, and not just getting by. If you've not made that change or taken that step, I guess, now is the time. Because in these sorts of environments, think of it like cracks in a foundation, right? Like if you have cracks in your foundation where you're not doing this sort of thing, they're going to spread, they're going to extend, they're going to be exposed. And so by committing to being a better business owner, you're going to be far more resilient. You're going to have a much stronger foundation. So I think that's critical as well. Then, and I love the idea that I learned from studying Warren Buffett. And so I'll paraphrase. The approach is like when others are fearful, that's when we want to be bold. We want to be aggressive. And so you'll see people kind of pull back on their marketing. You'll see people really be less eager to go out there and spend. And they'll say, oh, it's the economy. Nobody's buying. Circumstances are bad. We don't need everybody to be a client, but we need to be in front of the people. And so if other people want to vacate marketing, it's going to make yours stand out even more. So if you've not committed to a monthly marketing plan, if you're not being consistent in whatever marketing channels, online or offline, that you're using, now is the time. It's not inconceivable that you'll have opportunities to go and spend on advertising and it actually be cheaper. I know that in 2008, 2009, when I was an owner of two local businesses, when we'd go out and do things like radio spots or do ads in newspapers and that sort of thing, the ability to get that stuff inexpensively and in some cases just as a barter was more prevalent than ever before because they had more inventory than they could sell. So I could trade out gym memberships and get as many radio spots as I wanted. I could buy remnant ad space in the local newspaper for, pennies on the dollar. So out there and be aggressive with your marketing. Be really proactive. The next thing that I would tell you is be adaptable to the market as to what you can sell. One of the things that I think helped me early on and then again during the pandemic was I was very much at the front end of selling training memberships on a subscription. So we were not asking people for lump sum amounts of cash. We were just asking people for a few $100s a month in a subscription. And so the perception of the immediate risk to them financially was much lower. And we had programs where if somebody wanted to downgrade, hey, you're spending $200 a month. We've got something for $99 a month where you can still work with us, get some support, get some coaching. And it doesn't mean that you need to cut your margins as much as you need to find alternative solutions to make sure that you can serve people that may not be able to pay you what you always want to get if that starts to become a problem. I don't know that you have to address that just yet, but if you start to see that becoming a problem, you need to have downsells, you need to have hybrid-based programs, you need to have things that keep people involved, because it's always harder to win somebody back than it is to just keep them in the first place on some other program. It's kind of like athletes between off-season and in-season programs. It's always tougher to win them back if they weren't training with you in season. So have alternative options there. Consider other profit centers too. We always have traditionally done well with things like online coaching, nutrition coaching, specialty programs, that sort of thing, because again, there are going to be some people who are very impervious to any sort of economic changes. They're just going to go on and live their life and do the things that they want to do, or maybe they're in a profession or a field that those changes end up being favorable for them. Well, we want to increase the average revenue per member for those people. So having other ways to serve people, to upgrade people, to create greater value exchanges, I think is really important. And then really last thing that I would tell you is you got to play offense. So many people, when things start to get challenging, immediately go into reactive mode. They kind of go into a shell. They start playing defense. And when times get a little more challenging, that's when I think you have to go play offense. You have to feel like you're in control. That's why you became a business owner in some ways, right? You wanted control, you wanted freedom, you wanted confidence and certainty that you could dictate your outcomes. Well, go on the offensive and pursue the outcomes that you want, because every time that I've seen historically, not just the economic downturns that I've been through as an entrepreneur, but when I've gone back and studied history, some people came out further ahead, and it's always the people who were playing offense, the people that kind of were being reactive, that were kind of on their heels, are the ones who struggled the most. They're the ones who, barely scraped by, and some of them just kind of threw in the towel. So if you want to be successful, these are the things that have helped me. These are the things that have helped multiple businesses that I've owned. These are the things that have helped clients that I've worked with. And we've got, I would be even willing to say, unmatched track record in succeeding, thriving, and growing during turbulent times. And I don't think there's any mystery to it. I just told you what worked. And if you'd like to talk about how this might work specifically for you and your situation, just shoot me a message at pat@patrigsby.com, and I'd be happy to talk through it with you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Fitness Business School. Before you go, I have a quick announcement. One of the things that we've been doing with our current clients is taking them through this ideal business diagnostic. And really what it is this checklist that allows you to pinpoint exactly what your business needs next so you can keep improving, keep growing, and build a business that you love to own, one that pays you well, one that allows you to have the impact you want to have, and one that allows you to have a lifestyle that you truly enjoy. In this diagnostic, we walk through everything and we do an evaluation and can instantly pinpoint what you need to do next to build that business that you want. I'm going to extend this opportunity to get on with either me or my team and take you through this evaluation and fix your business's most vital needs fast. So if we take you through this, you're going to be able to make those vital changes that you need to finally have what I call your ideal business. If you'd be interested in going through this entirely free, risk-free diagnostic with us and learn what you already have in place, what you're doing well, and where your greatest opportunities for rapid improvement are, just shoot me an email with diagnostic in the subject line to pat@patrigsby.com. Again, an email to pat@patrigsby.com with diagnostic in the subject line will get you scheduled and take you through this evaluation to help you build the business you want.